Welcome back to another combined Those Twisted Pines and SCP reading, dear researchers. Because this week we're reading SCP-3613. Things You People Wouldn't Believe. Now without further ado. Item number SCP-3613. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-3613 instances are to be kept in standard humanoid containment cells on Floor 19 of Site-88. Under no circumstances are the location of these subjects to be disclosed to any agents of Marshall, Carter, and Dark. And a footnote here, documents relating to this group of interest are available upon request. Physical testing of SCP-3613 instances require permission of the SCP-3613 Project Head and Site-88 Director Philip Foster. Description: SCP-3613 is a collection of 4 humanoid robots possessing the instance designations SCP-3613-1 through 4. While these instances are theoretically capable of anomalous physical and mental performance, none display abilities above that of the human baseline. These instances also express a belief that they are the immediate family of an individual identified as Jacob Jefferson, a known agent of Marshall, Carter, and Dark. On October 31st, 2013, Jacob Jefferson and his immediate family were the victims of a traffic accident. Mr. Jefferson was the only survivor of the accident, suffering a Class A spinal cord injury which resulted in tetraplegia. Mr. Jefferson has since fully recovered from these injuries. Documentation recovered from Anderson Robotics, and a footnote here, GOI 1115, indicates that the SCP-3613 instances were part of a family replacement program initiated by Marshall, Carter, and Dark in order to ensure employee loyalty. The following communication was intercepted on November 8, 2013. Dear Mr. Carter, I'm going to be honest. Hearing that you were interested in our androids for the purpose of replacing family members gave me pause at first. Once your assistant explained the purpose and process, though, I have to say this is an ingenious idea. Your agent, Mr. Razum Kal, and a footnote here, see Incident Report 2987-24, delivered the Jefferson family's spirits this afternoon. We'll be loading them into the Generation 3 models tonight. By tomorrow, this man should have his family back. I know this is just good business for you, but it's always a joy when good business and doing the right thing align. Please, give my best to Mr. Jefferson. It's ironic that he's got a much longer road to recovery than his family, but at least they'll be there to get him through it. Anderson. SCP-3613-3 was damaged cosmetically during a bullying incident in Gulf Shores High School in Baldwin County, Alabama on March 18, 2015. Police reports of the incident led Foundation agents to the hospital where the damaged instance was being treated. The follow-up investigation resulted in all instances being identified and captured. During this incident, Mr. Jefferson was acting as head of security at a Marshall, Carter, and Dark auction in Atlanta, Georgia. Addendum 1. Absent a direct request from Marshall, Carter, and Dark, the Foundation is under no obligation under the SOCIOCT, and a footnote here, Southern United States Extra-Normal Organization Cooperation Treaty, to return their property. The Foundation's capture of the SCP-3613 instance was therefore kept classified in order to avoid an incident. During this incident, Site-88's Director Maddox was in the process of being replaced by Dr. Philip Foster because of Mr. Maddox's duplicity in regards to Project Alpha 9 and the incidents of Incursion 88-04. And a footnote here. Please see the relevant documentation for more information. It is believed that Mr. Maddox revealed the location and status of the SCP-3613 instances at this time to agents of Marshall, Carter, and Dark. The following message was received very shortly after Director Foster took full control of Site-88. Dear Dr. Foster, it has come to our attention that you are currently in possession of our property, designated by you as SCP-3613-1, 2, 3, and 4. Our organization is invoking Clause 3, Section 5 of the Socioct and making a formal request for the return of the following property. A Generation 3 Anderson Robotics android appears as, identifies as, and possessed by the spirit of a 39-year-old female named Dolores Jefferson. A damaged Generation 3 Anderson Robotics android appears as, identifies as, and possessed by the spirit of a 16-year-old female named Alice Jefferson. A Generation 3 Anderson Robotics android appears as, identifies as, and possessed by the spirit of a 12-year-old female named Tracy Jefferson. A Generation 3 Anderson Robotics android appears as, identifies as, and possessed by the spirit of a 7-year-old male named Jacob Jefferson Jr. This property is to be returned at your earliest convenience. A bill for housing recovery and transportation costs should be presented no more than 30 business days from the receipt of this message. Sincerely, the Office of Mr. Dark. Incident Report 3613-5. The Foundation Legal Department issued a formal denial of possession of these instances in order to delay their return and recommended an acceleration of SCP-3613's research schedule. On January 9, 2016, a convoy transporting the instances from Site-88 to Site-19 came under attack by a group of mercenaries believed to be connected to Marshall, Carter, and Dark. This attack was repelled, the instances were returned to Site-88 for security reasons, and several of the mercenaries were captured. Among those captured were the operations leader, Jacob Jefferson. A full physical examination of Jacob Jefferson was immediately carried out in order to determine the manner by which his spinal injury was treated. However, no signs of the spinal injury were present. Mr. Jefferson resisted interrogation and refused to respond to requests outside of his own demands to see his family. On January 11, 2016, the following message was received from Marshall, Carter, and Dark. Dear Dr. Foster, despite your previous denials, we are certain that you possess our property. Your organization has until February 15th of this year to return all property under previously received requests, specifically the Generation 3 androids designated by you as SCP-3613. Failure to return our property will cause a triggering of the penalty clauses in the Socioct as outlined in Clause 10, Sections 1 through 87. We have also identified the following property in your possession and are formally requesting its return. A Generation 12 Anderson Robotics android appears as, identifies as, and possessed by the spirit of a 41-year-old male named Jacob Jefferson. A bill for damage, housing, and recovery and transportation costs should be presented no more than 30 business days from the receipt of this message. Sincerely, the Office of Mr. Dark. And there we have it, an entire family of androids that is currently being kept in SCP Foundation custody, one of which is an android that very much doesn't look like an android. Interesting. Well, thank you very much for coming, dear researchers. It has been an honor reading for you. If you are someone who is not joining on Those Twisted Pines readings, I highly recommend you do. It's fun. It's relaxing. And you know what? It's not that relaxing. I just looked over and, there was torture in one of the... Okay, thank you very much for coming. See you next time. Goodbye.